Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome inside Jefferson University for the play-by-play Scholastic Classics. Bob Long and Chris Carabello alongside to bring you the play-by-play. We have Frank Shereka on the camera this afternoon. Excited to be alongside for what should be a great non-league matchup, but against a traditional rival in the Malvern Prep Friars. Malvern Prep led by Deuce Turner. He scored over 1,000 points on the date of December 1st, 2018. Still in his junior campaign, can absolutely light it up. And on the LaSalle side, led by two seniors going to Division I schools, Zach Chrysler and Conrad Kiska, both standing at 6'6" or taller. Chris, this should be a great matchup of differing styles, but two teams that know each other pretty well.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense rivalry between the Interact powerhouse Malvern and LaSalle. But as I said, you have two very, very different styles of basketball. One a much smaller, quicker team, and the other one that has size and is going to want to be a little more deliberate in their offense.
LaSalle dressed in the white from right to left. Conrad Kiska looks for the ball inside. Great catch inside, and he finishes over top of Spencer Cochran. And they go right to work to exploit that size advantage.
Yeah, they're going to have to work a lot into the paint.
And there's a three right there from number 4, Deuce Turner. Deuce Turner is a guy who can absolutely light it up, as we mentioned, and Malvern Prep has to force LaSalle to call a timeout as they came out with a full court look. Chris, perhaps that's not something that LaSalle was anticipating coming in.
No, but they ran into trouble on Friday night with what I thought was a very athletic Springside Chestnut Hill team. And that, and they got very hot, particularly from beyond the arc, three-pointers, and there's Deuce Turner goes out and he hits his first three. So they learned that on Friday night, that they were going to have to defend the three, and then that would allow, teams to put pressure on them on the inbound, and that's exactly what happened there.
And this is an entirely different look from a defensive perspective compared with what Springside Chestnut Hill did. They went into a base 2-3 zone, didn't extend the prongs, made LaSalle shoot the ball over top, and it really was a struggle until later in that game. They started getting the ball inbounds inside a little bit better. Now it's going to be a full court pressure situation, and LaSalle able to get it across the timeline.
They didn't do it real well either, but they were able to be successful getting the ball into Kiska using his height advantage.
Now Kiska, jump stop to the basket, thought he was hit, finished strong off the glass, and LaSalle leads 4-3. Now Turner to the hole. Nice swing and an extra pass. That three is good, nothing but net from Rodir Hicks, the sophomore guard.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to trade threes with Malvern Prep all night. They're going to have to defend that beyond the perimeter.
Here's Jake Timby, has the ball taken away from him by Hicks, and here comes Malvern Prep on the run again. Spotting up, Deuce Turner, no good. That one a little bit long, and the Explorers come the other way, led by the point guard, Alan Powell. Powell, a senior guard, he's been a real key to this team from ball handling perspective for each of the last 3 years. Titus Beard, a transfer in last year, has provided some great help as well. Conrad Kiska catches it at the foul line against the man-to-man, and he's stripped. He's going to get that basketball back. Great defense there by Taiji Leach, number 10. Inside, Zach Chrysler finishes off the glass. Missed assignment that time by Fran Orshell. Man-to-man defense here for the Explorers. Cochran guarded by Timby. Cochran gets by Timby and finishes with some English off the glass, and it's an 8-6 lead for Malvern Prep. 5:38 to play here in this first quarter. Bob Long, Chris Carabello, broadcasting through the LaSalle Sports Network, live on Bob Long Sports. Over the top again, Conrad Kiska, great catch and finish, all in one motion, and back and forth we go here at Jefferson University. Taiji Leach thought about that NBA range three. Here's O'Shell beating Chrysler to the bucket, and he's fouled. as he clearly had him beat baseline, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, Malvern beat St. Joe's Prep pretty handedly on Friday night down at the Prep for the home opener for St. Joe's. But I mean, you have to keep in mind that they have some games under their belt, so they're at game speed at this point. LaSalle's just started to ramp up and barely doing so.
O'Shell is a 6'6" sophomore big. A little strong on that first free throw. Chris, you mentioned a powerhouse Malvern Prep from the Interact. I remember going out to Malvern 2 years ago, and that was an extremely, extremely young team. They still have a lot of guys that are, you know, either in their junior year, their sophomore year, and have some runway ahead of them. But this is very much a collection of guys that have been playing together since their freshman year and getting significant minutes. They're going to be a big-time challenge in the Interact. And Haverford expected to be good again, but these guys can provide some teams a lot of problems. Zach Chrysler a 3, a little short that time. Rebound saved in bounds by Timby, and they said that he had his foot on the line before he dished that back into Conrad Kiska.
That was probably an ill-advised 3 from Chrysler. That's not a place where we need him. There's seriously a size advantage here.
Too good that time from Deuce Turner. Little shake got him by Titus Beard. And I'll tell you what, he likes to show it too, doesn't he? Show the ball on your way to the hoop, and if you can finish like that, why not? We thought about that one again there, Chris. And now he's going to set up shop inside. This is more what you like here. Patience from the big man. He can pass out of there. That's poked away by Leach and out of bounds. But I think that's one of the things that you want if you're LaSalle. Use the size of Zach Chrysler, but also the awareness as an ability to skip past it across the floor and pass out of the post.
And when they get it down low, they need to move quickly with it. When they hold it down there, they collapse on them. They're swatting at the ball, and
that's too easy there. Malvern Prep missed an assignment again. O'Shell out of position, and a great find by Timby. Taiji Leach steps into a 3. Back iron, no. Rebound for O'Shell, and he'll go right back up with it. Can't get that one over the front rim. It's 11-10. Malvern Prep leads by 1, and it's taken away from Timby again. Timby, a nice hand on that one to
nice
stop
recovery.
It. Second turnover early on for Timby. That was pulled away by Reddy Hicks. And it'll be Hicks, the sophomore, to throw it in. And here's an opportunity for Zach Chrysler. Could have been a foul. He's going to throw this one down, and it won't go. Couldn't get that one over the front rim either. Deuce Turner, and I'll say an ill-advised shot there. Leach stops on a dime and fires from the elbow, no good. Here's Powell. Powell will go to the hoop off the glass and good. And they are just going right at Fran O'Shell. Down low, Chris. That appears to be a weakness defensively for Malvern Prep.
I agree with you, and I don't think there's anybody on that bench that they can bring in that's going to make them it's going to put them in a better position.
Deuce Turner to the glass and finishes. He beat Zach Chrysler off the dribble. And back and forth we go offensively here. It's a 13-12 lead for the Malvern Prep Friars. 2:51 to play first quarter. Live on the @LaSalle_sports Twitter handle, as well as on our YouTube channel as well. Powell beats O'Shell baseline. Timby from the corner. And that goes off the top of the backboard. Fortunate there for Malvern Prep as Kiska had an eyes on and had a beat on that rebound. Now a 1-point lead.
Timby missed some threes early on Friday night, and then he hit 2 big ones at the end.
Timby does just enough there defensively, keeps Deuce Turner in front of him. Wow, very difficult pass somehow finds its way into the hands of the Explorers. Now Luke Baldini, a great back cut. He's patient and throws that one through the arms of Zach Chrysler. I don't think he was ready for it. Cochran to the hole. Finishes with the left hand. Very nice to use the right hand as the bar to hold off Conrad Kiska, and a great left-handed finish. Gives Malvern a 3-point lead.
You know, Jake Timby has some great court awareness. I don't know if you watched what he did there, but he didn't pick up that basketball knowing that the minute he did, because the clock would start on the count, and he wanted to make sure his guys were set. Which that takes a lot of awareness, particularly for a younger player.
Absolutely does. Conrad Kiska on the other end. A nice drive to the hoop, cuts it back to one. And a travel called against Spencer Cochran. It's funny, Chris, you mentioned that type of awareness. You'll never see it at this level because there is no shot clock, although it's sitting there and turned on here at Jefferson University above the basket. But, you know, a lot of times a basket goes in at the end of the first half from the opposing team with 35 seconds left on the clock. And you'll see a team very quickly get that basketball in. In the second half, that clock would stop. But in the first half, that's going to keep running. And that's something that, for whatever reason, at the college level, I don't think the guys have gotten. So it's great to see that from Timby as just a high schooler. Powell, scoop, too strong off the glass. Wholesale substitutions came in here for Malvern. A whole different look, and Cochran will fire it away from deep, no good. 1 minute left in this first quarter. Not a lot of stoppages here. And we'll see if LaSalle will take this as the last possession. Yeah,
the Explorers have brought in Manny Frere and Khalil Diarra.
Timby thought about it on the baseline. Timby foot on the line for three, no good. Diarra got a hand on it, but it's brought down by Beckenham. Now a baseline drive, and he's nudged by Timby. Just the team's second foul, his first. In fact, Chris, the second foul of the entire 8-minute frame thus far.
But this is setting up well to be the type of game Malvern Prep wanted. I mean, their thing is first team to win 80 is going to win, and they hope it's them.
And Frere gets a hand on it. Here comes Khalil Diarra, and a foul is called. They're going to call that one on Manny Frere.
Wow.
That's a tough call there. Assistant coach Marty Jackson on the bench. Not thrilled.
Not thrilled. And having to sit. He's less he's less thrilled that he has to remain seated.
We'll take your questions at the end.
And he did explain to the ref why that was the wrong call.
From his seated position,
yes.
Here's Turner. Double team comes in. Turner, wild pass, gets to the baseline. And now it's thrown away. 18 seconds left. And if you're Malvern Prep and John Harmachuk, that has to absolutely make your blood boil. 18 seconds left. You're on the baseline. You have a chance to pull it out and grab the last possession. And you're trying to funnel a pass through a window like that along the baseline with that baseline as the third defender.
Yeah, the closest person to that ball was Dave Crow, the LaSalle trainer.
So now LaSalle's going to have an opportunity with 16 seconds left to take the lead. They trail by 1 here in the final stages of the first quarter. It's Titus Beard with the basketball with 6 to shoot. Conrad Kiska. Beard, extra pass. Fryer at the horn. Got it. And it's a 2-point lead now for LaSalle. Great patience. The extra pass from Titus Beard.
That was a great shot from Manny Frere. That really was.
Nothing but nylon. That's the end of 1 here at Jefferson University. LaSalle leads by 2, and Chris certainly slotting to be, through 8 minutes, a very high-scoring game. 17 would put you on pace for 68. And this is a game, like you mentioned, where you're creating a lot of possessions. But on LaSalle's side, they've gotten their share of easy buckets as well. And so there's not necessarily any reason to turn down the good shots. But as you mentioned at the top of this broadcast, it's also a game that Malvern Prep likes to play from an offensive side.
Right. The one thing that I think it was very noticeable on Friday night was when LaSalle played quick, they made mistakes. When they slowed the ball down and ran their offense, it was a very deliberate style of basketball that was very successful, particularly in that fourth quarter. They played strong defense and a deliberate basketball, slowing SCH down, and I think they had results. And I think it's going to be a little harder to do this because I think these 4 athletes really, and a big guy, are much better than the SCH guys.
We haven't mentioned this yet. A brand new head coach for LaSalle College High School, Mike McKee, comes in, and he's had a lot of really good experience both at the high school and the college level, graduate of Roman Catholic. And it will be interesting to see how over the course of this year the program changes, if at all, from the way that it goes about its business from an offensive and defensive perspective. And Zach Crystal, that's a big foul. That's his second, Chris.
Yeah, and that was a stupid foul.
But Marty Jackson back on the bench as well.
And then the other assistant, Doc Conroy, Tommy Conroy, 82 grad from Father Judge, longtime college assistant, a lot of experience at Dayton. They got a lot of basketball knowledge on that bench. Smaller staff, but certainly not short in knowledge.
O'Shell now back for Turner. He thought about that three. Now a back cut, and he couldn't handle it, and he's nudged from behind by Titus Beard. 7:42 to play. Just started the second quarter here, and that's already the 5th team foul for LaSalle. Malvern is clean on the foul side.
Yeah, Marty Jackson made them aware of that. Made the refs aware of that.
O'Shell on the catch. O'Shell thought he might have been hit there. Maybe there's Jackson at his best. Beard, good pass inside. Baldini not over the front rim. What a pass there from Titus Beard. Off the glass and good that time from number 3, Rodier Hicks.
Yeah, that's a shame because there's a 4-point swing. An easy layup Baldini should have made.
You have an opportunity to set up your defense at that point. And they got to get this ball over the timeline. They will with Alan Powell.
Yeah, but the missed layup there is responsible for the basket on the other end.
Absolutely. 100%, like you said, or like we were talking about, you have the opportunity to set up your defense off a made bucket versus a get out in transition type of opportunity. And that's exactly what happened. Powell, wild shot. That one's blocked. DR is going to put that foot on the line and fire it. No good. Cochran up the floor. He has Turner. Doesn't put the ball on the ground, but puts it up and in. Nice job by Turner to all-in-one motion take that basketball and find a home for it. It's now 19-17 Malvern Prep. Beard, nice, slipping through 2 defenders. Finds Powell for 3. No good. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Fran O'Shell.
Yeah, nice hustle by Luke Baldini.
I am very impressed with what I've seen from Titus Beard thus far, handling the basketball and finding his teammates, creating good shots.
It was a great pass to Luke Baldini, the one where the layup was missed, but it was a great pass.
Yep, and that one he split on a high ball screen. He split 2 defenders. Saved.
Great save. Wow. I wasn't sure where he was going to save that too.
Tell you what, if Malvern Prep, though, is a little bit more attentive, that's going the other way.
Yep.
That's an easy one to come in and intercept, but Ty G. Leach was not up to it. So now with 6:16 to play, it's a 2-point lead for Malvern Prep. Second consecutive Interact program that LaSalle is playing, and now Malvern Prep, maybe with the film from Springside Chestnut Hill, they go to the zone for the first time. Beard comes baseline, good feed again, extra pass. Conrad Kiska from the baseline, no. Rebound by Spencer Cochran. They're getting good shots, just haven't been able to hit the 3-ball with consistency. Offensive foul as Spencer Cochran runs through Khalil Diarra.
And that's the thing that's a little different this year. Now that's third time so far this season that they've drawn an offensive foul. Not something that happened a lot last season, but they're going to sit there and they're going to draw the charge. Khalil Diarra drew one the other night as well.
Conrad Kiska is in trouble right now. Skip pass is going to get it to Diarra. And now they will set the offense up. 5:35 to play, still 19-17 Malvern Prep. Alan Powell right over the top and hits the 3.
Much better ball rotation than the one here on the other corner.
John Harmontuck calls the timeout. Ty G. Leach a little bit lazy there defensively on the closeout. And Alan Powell, he has that ability to knock down the 3. It gives LaSalle a 1-point lead. 5:26 to play. Second quarter. Bob Long, Chris Carabello here for LaSalle College High School basketball.
Yeah, you have to wonder the type of position of Mike McKee's in. He's a new coach to this league. It's not like he came from another team, or they have the referees have no idea who he is. But he's out there. He's telling them this. He's telling them that. You have to wonder what kind of respect that he's going to command from these officials.
What's the story with Mike for the folks that don't know? Where did he come from? The background and bringing him to LaSalle.
So he was a standout player at Roman Catholic. As a matter of fact, he was the point guard on the team with Marvin Harrison that beat the team that Marty Jackson coached that had Conlon and Butler and Ernie Koshnig. Great game at the Palestra. And Mike McKee was really the star of that team. The athlete on the team was obviously Marvin Harrison, but McKee was the standout player. Went on to play at Lafayette and then had a great coaching career at the college level. Air Force, University of Denver. Really has been involved in collegiate athletics now for most of his life. But coached the last few years at a high school in the Denver area and has now returned home to Philadelphia.
O'Shell will try it from the baseline. He can't answer, and Frere goes up high and gets a big-time rebound. Conrad Kiska, what a look inside.
That's
for
a great
Khalil
pass.
Diarra.
That's a great pass.
Absolutely fantastic. The dribble drive breaks down the defense and just drop it down. O'Shell meets a wall with Diarra. And this could be time for Malvern to take their time, get a good shot. In years past, I've seen opportunities like this where things don't start to go well and they'll take some ill-advised shots. That's a pretty good one right there, and a big-time answer from Ty G. Leach.
A wide-open three.
And like I said, I think that's a little bit of the maturation of this team, Chris. They have been outscored pretty consistently in the last 3-4 minutes, found themselves down as Beard goes to the hoop and can't finish. Instead of rushing a shot, they worked the offense and got themselves a good look.
Walked.
Pull up from the elbow, in and out. Frere another rebound off the miss from Radir Hicks. We've hit the midway point here of the second quarter, 4 minutes. It's 22 apiece. Alan Powell down low. Great back screen that time by Conrad Kiska, and Deuce Turner got caught up in the traffic.
And that's one of the things that Mike McKee is going to bring to the offense here. He's going to bring that backdoor, that Princeton offense, those screens, the wide open shots underneath the basket. That all comes from his years of coaching with Chris Muni at Air Force and running those kind of offenses.
Khalil Diarra, a heady play there. They're going to call that on the floor, but as soon as he felt that contact, he started to go up. 24-22, LaSalle leads, 3:33 to go. Another dogfight against a talented Interact team twice in one weekend.
I think there's going to be a lot of dogfights early on.
It's a good basketball team, but they've scheduled very difficult as well because it's these two games against two teams that are going to compete well in the Interact. They're going to play Constitution High School next Friday. We're going to be calling that one as well. And that's a team that is in the state
finals
discussion every year.
And the team they're playing Wednesday night from Reading, the charter school. It's an outstanding charter school in the Reading area.
Deflection there by Leach. He comes up with the basketball. 3:13 to play. Malvern Prep trails by 2. Joe McElwee, good driving kick. Spencer Cochran over the top, no good. Conrad, or I should say Kiska, was in the area, but Zach Chrysler is the one that came up with it. Look at that, the long strides, and it falls off the glass for Zach Chrysler. I tell you what, if you got a big man that can put the ball on the floor one time from the three-point line and get to the hoop, that is a tough proposition. Another offensive foul taken by Khalil Diarra, and that one he just stood there as the train ran him over. Wonderful play by the big for the Explorers.
Little known fact about number 24 from Malvern Prep, Joe McElwee. His father actually went to LaSalle High School, ran with me. Great runner.
That's all. That's great.
He's from the Narberth area. He was from St. Matthias. He ran with like Tom Fitzpatrick and Steve Gallagher. That was a great program back then. All Catholic. Was on a Catholic League Championship cross-country team, but they lived in that area.
You're speaking my language there as well when you talk about LaSalle cross country. Shout out to Pat Devine, who was coaching the team back then. Conrad Kiska can't finish that one, but a good spin, and really by LaSalle, a tremendous job offensively to find that mismatch. I mean, there was absolutely no chance for Brock Dudek to hang with.
And that's what they need to take advantage. They need to take advantage of the mismatch on the floor. I mean, you've got Kiska and Chrysler out there.
Hits the first one, and extends LaSalle's lead to 27-22 with 2:26 to go.
The lineup I'd like to see, which we haven't done yet this year, is I'd like to see Diarra, Chrysler, and Kiska in at the same time.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, I'd like to see the three towers.
That would be a tough proposition to handle. Well, and I think with Conrad Kiska and Zach Chrysler, you actually could be able to do that because both of them, I think, have the ability to guard on the perimeter. I would argue that Khalil Diarra is a little more comfortable inside. You've seen the wonderful job he's done taking charges, but the problem if you have three bigs out there and they're not really perimeter defenders is you can get burned pretty easily. I think Conrad Kiska and Zach Chrysler give you that flexibility because of their athleticism. Look at this steal by Beard. Powell counted and one. He's going to shoot one at the line. Not a good foul there by Joe McElwee.
That was not a good foul by McElwee. His father's even upset with him.
And this is a nice little run for the Explorers. These runs at the end of halves and the beginning of, say, the second half, these are important things in games like these. An 8-0 run for the Explorers. Make that 9 with Alan Powell hitting that shot. 2:01 left, 31-22, Explorers lead.
If things stay where they are, the Explorers will have the ball to start the second half. So it's you want to go on a nice run. You want to build up a little lead if you're going to get that ball to start the second half.
Sounds like we're calling football there. 1:52 to play. Turner. And now the Explorers are going to go with the zone defense themselves. They started it on the last possession down, and a great hand in there by the Explorers. They can't come up with the ball. Wild pass is going to come right to the line, and it's intercepted there by Titus Beard. Timby spots up for three. In and out, tipped up by Kiska, it won't go.
That was a great opportunity for the Explorers. I thought Timby was going to hit the three.
Deuce Turner barely draws iron the other way. Out they come, the Explorers on the break. Nice one-handed catch by Timby, and they'll reset. 70 seconds left in this second quarter. Bob Long, Chris Carabello. Frank Sharika is on camera. Thanks to him for all his help this afternoon at Jefferson University. The Scholastic Play-by-Play Classics. That ball's going to come to Diarra. Pull up from the baseline, yes, from Conrad Kiska. And that's a part of his game that's continued to evolve over the course of his LaSalle career. Wow, a foul called. I might be on body contact against.
I think that was because he got the ball.
That would have to be against Conrad Kiska, I would think. They're going to call it against Khalil Diarra.
Yeah.
To be honest,
on the body.
I didn't see that. So this is a big opportunity here for Malvern Prep. You'd think they'd be very important for them to get these two shots and then to hold LaSalle offensively on the next possession. It's 33-23. LaSalle leads. This game just a few minutes ago was tied 22 apiece. And that first foul shot had broken an 11-0 run by the LaSalle Explorers. 42 seconds left in the first half. I would think, Chris.
They're going to hold for a shot.
Yep, unless they get one right at the hoop, something like that. Conrad Kiska puts it in and gives LaSalle an 11-point lead. I don't think anybody wants to wait for the last shot. LaSalle's going to get another opportunity.
They are now.
So this is, if you can get a 2 or even a 3 ball to drop, this could end the half with a bang for the Explorers. Down to 5. Powell has it. He's going to pull up from the top of the key. It's good. And that's going to be the end of the half.
That's a huge finish. Huge finish to end that half.
In a 14-point game, not to be understated, the Explorers with last-second shots from 3 in both the first quarter and the second quarter gives them a ton of momentum. And they have a 14-point lead over their non-league rival, the Malvern Prep Friars. Chris, thoughts on the first half, what we've seen so far, and the adjustment here on this 16-2 run for the Explorers to end the half?
Well, the one thing that I can't help but notice, but that Malvern Prep, what they started the game with, coming out, shooting the threes, finding the open man from the perimeter. The other, they haven't really gotten back to that, nor have they gotten back to pressuring the inbound. I mean, LaSalle had to call a timeout on the very first inbound because they couldn't inbound the ball. Malvern Prep has not gone back to that. And that had to trouble. There must be a player, there must be a personnel difference that made it difficult for LaSalle to inbound that ball.
Halftime here, about a 10-minute break. We'll be right back on the other side. This is LaSalle College High School basketball. It's live through the LaSalle_sports Twitter handle, live on Bob Long Sports, and also live now and in the future, anytime you want to go back and watch on our YouTube page. Thanks for being with us, folks, and we'll be right back.
Ford is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfort Avenue.
Generation after generation. Our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfort Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dunphyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
I would say that LaSalle is dynamic. Prepared. Active. Diverse. Brotherhood. Family.
Ford is Mayfair's neighborhood Ford store.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like Dunphy Ford.
Nearly 40 years.
Right here on Frankfurt Avenue.
Generation after generation, our neighbors continue to be our customers. We have access to the cars and trucks you want with financing you need.
Dunphy Ford is Northeast Philly's first choice for America's #1 brand. 7700 Frankfurt Avenue in Mayfair. Online at www.dunphyford.com.
Come experience the Dunphy difference. You'll be glad you did.
What does your character look like? Does it bounce back after each setback? Does it stand out by standing up? Does it make good on good intentions? Character is invisible until it's not. Only through action will the world know what it's made of, what you're made of. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans and families of the fallen at travismanion.org.
I would say that LaSalle is dynamic. Prepared. Active. Diverse. Brotherhood. Family.
Welcome back inside Jefferson University, the site of this afternoon's non-league matchup in the Scholastic Play-by-Play Classics. Big shout out to Jeremy Treatman, who puts these events on every year. Big shout out to Jeremy for allowing us to come in and do this afternoon, while a lot of folks at LaSalle are watching the Eagles football game. So hopefully you're enjoying this simultaneously, and hope to see everybody out at another LaSalle High School basketball game very soon. Still another half to go here, but we'll remind everybody that on Friday night, LaSalle will be on the road at Constitution High School, a traditional power and a team that's really at the top every single year in the 2A level. They went to the state championship. They have been going to the state championship fairly regularly over the last few years, and should be a very good matchup for LaSalle. Litmus test very much as this is. Malvern Prep is a great program, and this is a test that LaSalle thus far has passed. 38-24. It's not over yet, of course, though. Malvern's going to come out firing. They can hit the three as well as anybody, any team really in the city of Philadelphia when they get hot, and that's something that LaSalle's got to be really, really careful of. Bob Long, Chris Carabello here doing play-by-play and color respectively. Frank Sharika is on camera, and our sponsor today, Dunphy Ford. Thanks to them for all they do for us in order for us to be able to bring you these great broadcasts and assemble this great staff. So thanks to everybody for watching so far, and about time to begin the second half. Chris, I think for LaSalle, the big thing here is you can slow things down without changing your offensive vigor and without changing your aggressiveness. And if they can do that, I think that's an effective way to play with a 14-point lead. The worst thing you can do is when you try to slow it down is lose part of that edge, that allowed you to get to this point. But I do think that in some ways LaSalle taking another 15, 20 seconds per possession is going to shorten this game in a big way. And Malvern Prep on the other side, exactly the opposite. They want to create as many possessions as they possibly can here in the second half.
I think the big thing is, and I think it'll be a testament to Mike McKee's coaching, can LaSalle take a 14-point lead to a 20-point lead, or do they hang on? Do they have it drop below 14?
No good on that first one, so here comes Malvern Prep the other way. Cochran thought about the three. Taiji Leach fouled by Zach Chrysler. I believe that's his third.
Yeah, that is his third.
First team foul to begin the second half.
And 2 of those 3 fouls, he's out on the perimeter, he's guarding someone, it's a glorified hand check.
Deuce Turner for 3, yes. And just like that, it's down to 11, and the 1,000-point scorer continues to have an effective day. Full court pressure, the ball's in the hands of Jake Timby. Timby, a wild pass, and goes into the LaSalle bench. Malvern Prep just what the doctor ordered to begin the third quarter. A wide open 3 for Cochran, and here they come. 6-0 run just like that, not even hitting the 7-minute mark of the third quarter yet. And all of a sudden, this game feels a little different.
And here's the in pressure on the inbound that we talked about.
Now Powell will have to pull it back, and they will set up the offense. 38-30, LaSalle leads over Malvern Prep. Early stages of the third quarter. Titus Beard, shot no, rebound by Diarra, count it, no, it can't get over the front rim. O'Shell got just enough of a hack of Diarra, and he'll shoot 2 at the line, but that's also going to be important as LaSalle is able to drive the ball to the basket. There's nobody on the weak side. Khalil Diarra sets up shop and a nice offensive carom.
That's a situation where he needs to be able to put the ball back, though.
Yeah, he didn't get hit particularly hard.
And he's not a great free-throw shooter.
Diarra misses both.
As evidenced by missing both, yes.
Frere got a hand on it, couldn't bring it down. Just an 8-point game. It was 14 to begin the third quarter. We're a minute and a half in. Taiji Leach spins high off the glass, and good finish. Down to 6. Malvern Prep dressed in the blue. LaSalle dressed in the white from left to right as you see it.
Better job of breaking the press there.
Good shot from Alan Powell and hits the mid-range.
It created the wide open jumper for Powell.
Powell, the senior, has really made that an integral part of his game. A steal by Diarra, and it'll stay here. That's one. I understand the aggressiveness there trying to save that ball in bounds, but that's one that could create an easy layup if you're just firing that behind your back.
Correct.
Almost a benefit that it was foot on the line and out of bounds. Manny Frere called for the personal foul. Second team foul. Frere's second personally. Turner thought about the NBA range 3. He'll step back. Leach spins inside. Can't get it to go with the left hand. Badgered the whole way by Alan Powell. (40-32), 5:39 to play, third quarter. LaSalle took a gut punch here to begin the third quarter. An 8-0 run by Malvern Prep cut it to 6. They answered with a 2 of their own. And now a ticky-tacky foul called on the moving screen against Conrad Kiska.
Timeout, LaSalle. Mike McKee quickly got up.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
On Diarra.
Oh, so, okay.
They called it on Diarra.
My apologies. I thought you were saying that it was a timeout, not a foul. So 5:28 to play, a full timeout on the floor. And if you're Mike McKee in that huddle, Chris, what are you saying right now?
I think the first thing you're saying is that they've gotten you out of your game. they're missing shots, they're taking shots that are ill-advised, and I don't think they're playing strongly as on defense or as aggressively on defense as they were at the end of that first half. The other thing is they don't have to play, they don't have to rush it, as you said. Extra 5, 10 seconds on every possession. The clock's is our friend in this game.
This is LaSalle College High School basketball, live on the LaSalle_sports Twitter handle. We'll be broadcasting all of our Bob Long Sports broadcast through that conduit, and then we'll also be on YouTube Live. You can catch those games and the archived replays on the YouTube channel. You can visit us at boblongsports.com for any and all of our LaSalle and other programming. That one was blocked.
Got him in the arm. Kiskin got him in the arm.
Conrad Kiska called for that foul. And now Deuce Turner will go to the line to shoot 2. Chris, in the first half, I see Conrad Kiska scored 14 points. Alan Powell had 13. That's 27 of the 38 points scored by these LaSalle Explorers. And I think very much as those two go, throw Zach Chrysler into that mix as well. So go the Explorers this year.
And Chrysler was more quiet underneath. He didn't have a lot of opportunities. The one big opportunity he had, he was able to take advantage of.
Sure, and of course there's the issue of foul trouble as he sits on the bench right now with 3.
And he's likely to be sitting till the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I would say unless there's a further run by Malvern Prep and you need to send him out there to stymie that. And Manny Frere is fouled by Deuce Turner.
And again, it's an odd situation because here he's sitting on the bench in foul trouble against a team that doesn't really have a big man.
Right. And it's a 7-point lead with 4:56 to play in the third quarter. And as long as that cushion is there, I don't know that there's any reason to send him out there and risk him getting his 4th foul. Here's Manny Frere. He has the opportunity to run the offense. An extended zone here from Malvern Prep. Good back cut there by Titus Beard. Looks for Diarra. Power dribble inside and finds Powell for an open 3 on the wing. Got it. Yeah. Alan Powell, a 3, puts LaSalle back up 10 points. Turner looks to answer. No good. Rebound Diarra. And with that miss, Malvern Prep not really with the opportunity to set up its full court pressure, and LaSalle beats it easily. You know, it's a feedback loop, Chris. These things add up. Missing shots like that, you can't set up the pressure. LaSalle gets the ball down, and Diarra's going to pop it up into the hands of Titus Beard. Counted and 1. Big time from Titus Beard.
That was a nice pass. I'm not sure Khalil Diarra did a great job of putting the ball up when he got the ball underneath there. But the pass out to Titus Beard.
The 6'2" nice Beard look. Going up against the 6'6" Fran O'Shell. And Chris, he saw that O'Shell was coming a little bit out of control, flying into him. So you just kind of shove those hips back away from the baseline as you go up. Keep the ball off to your right and flick it up and off the glass. That's a fantastic play by the senior.
Yeah, and it's almost impossible to block.
High off the glass, no good from Hicks. And LaSalle up 13. Not a lot of numbers. Beard able to get that ball under control just in time. Over the top, Conrad Kiska, nobody there, and he lays it in.
Yeah, a great pass from Khalil Diarra.
Radir Hicks was fronting. Great recognition by the big. High-low action from the big guys. And a timeout called by Malvern Prep. They trail by 15. LaSalle's largest lead of the basketball game.
Yeah, nice job by LaSalle to get the lead back out. And as you said, at this point, there's no reason to put Chrysler on the floor until the start of the fourth quarter.
3:37 to play in the third. LaSalle 48, Malvern Prep 33. You can catch this game, as we mentioned, on LaSalle_sports live stream on Twitter and on YouTube. You can find all of the archive broadcasts on BobLongSports.com. And Chris, in terms of some of the other programming, a big game yesterday, St. Joe's versus Villanova, the Holy War. That was a nice effort by the Villanova Wildcats and came up with their 25th straight Big Five win. So,
absolutely.
On Bob Long Sports, we do a weekly Villanova basketball talk show. A lot of fun. Bring on guests. It's Monday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. Join us live on Bob Long Sports. That's at Bob Long Sports on Twitter.
Now, where do you do that from, Bob?
Do that from the home studio, Chris. Look at that up and under from Titus Beard.
That was a great look from Conrad Kiska.
Yeah, great find by Kiska as well.
Oh, that was from Ridge Avenue or Henry Avenue.
Maybe Ridge, actually.
It might actually be from Ridge.
Saved back in bounds, but right to Frere. And I think LaSalle would behoove themselves to slow this down a little bit.
If you notice, they had an opportunity to go cross-court with a pass, and they didn't. As they said, the clock's their friend at this point.
Khalil Diarra adding a little something to his game, but that one won't go.
I'm not sure that's in his game.
Taiji Leach thought about it.
That was a walk.
It was a nice job by Diarra to stay in front of the shiftier Leach as well. Hicks. Here's a long three. That one's no good off the hands of Cooper Frankenheimer. But yeah, the home studio, Chris, is where we do that show from. We got the whiteboard on the wall. We're diagramming plays. We're breaking it all down. We have a lot of fun doing it. All in one motion, Kiska can't finish. 2:10 to go third quarter. Malvern Prep on the run, down by 17. Frankenheimer, he'll step back and try it again. Well short. And Beard comes up with it, a foul called against Cooper Frankenheimer from Malvern Prep.
Yeah. He didn't take, wasn't a very good shot from Frankenheimer. And then he gets the foul right after the miss.
We're at the Scholastic Play-by-Play Basketball Classic run by Jeremy Treatment up here at Jefferson University. Treatment does a great job in the Philadelphia area, linking these teams together, creating these big-time matchups, creating these events. And we're thankful that LaSalle's had the opportunity to compete here today. They've competed quite well, Chris, and I think this is, they play in the Jameer Nelson Classic every year. These are great litmus tests, opportunities to prove themselves in a decent crowd at a big-time venue and against good teams. Foul called as over the top go to the Explorers.
Yeah, that was going to go against Kiska. And the Explorers are going to have two other opportunities. They're going to have a Pete and Jameer Nelson game at Chestnut Hill College against Calvert Hall.
Fellow Christian
Brothers rival. Coming up from Maryland to play them, so that's nice. And then they'll play in an Arcadia Holiday Hoops Classic at Arcadia University against their neighbor, Cheltenham High School.
There's an offensive foul taken this time by Zach Chrysler, which is big. He had 3 fouls, but stayed in very good defensive position.
That was a risky offensive foul to take, given that when you have 3.
1:34 to play. Third quarter, LaSalle with a 50-33 lead. For those of you that follow along with Bob Long Sports and our coverage of LaSalle hoops and LaSalle football, as here comes Beard the other way. Nice spin inside, and he's blocked by Frankenheimer. Sorry that we don't have the scoreboard cam up. We had it, but just with the, gosh, I don't know the technical term, but the neon-ish sign, it really wasn't coming through well on the camera. It wouldn't really have been worth it. Good finish inside there by Blake Beckenham. It's 50-35, though. LaSalle leads. 1:05 to play in the third, and we'll do our best to give you time and score most of the way.
Yeah, the scoreboards here at Jefferson University are LED displays, and they don't come up very well when filmed.
Zach Chrysler inside. Give him an offensive rebound and a 2. Stuffing the stat sheet with that one, huh, Chris?
2 easy check marks.
Hicks. And a travel. Pretty easy call there. Joe McElwee just jumped as soon as he grabbed the basketball. And now LaSalle a 17-point lead It got down to 6 as Malvern Prep scored the first 8 points of the second half, but then LaSalle has doubled right back and gone on a 14-3 run since
Let's see
then.
if they hold the ball here.
And that's what good teams do, and able to counter runs with runs of their own. Now they have the 17-point lead. 23 seconds left in the third quarter. Maintain control here at Jefferson University. Here's Powell with the basketball. Number 1, the senior point guard. Guy's been running the show for years here at LaSalle. Inside, Zach Chrysler can't handle the pass.
And he held him on the shirt.
And that's a
and he
foul.
got a foul.
And a nickel dimer as Zach Chrysler is called for his 4th personal foul. That's the team's 6th. And with his hands on his head as soon as he realized what he did, knowing that he's got a lot more pine time ahead of him.
And again, there was a question whether he should even have been in the game at that point. But I thought it was a blown call, and the official, you could clearly see his jersey was pulled.
Long shot won't go. Probably had another dribble or 2. But he heaved it from north of the timeline. And after 3 quarters of play, it's LaSalle 52. Malvern Prep 35, live from the Scholastic Play-by-Play Classic run by Jeremy Treatman here from Jefferson University. Our broadcast team, Bob Long, Chris Carabello. Frank Sharica we have on camera. He worked with us before last year, does a great job on camera. We're excited to have him back. I know that we've had Matt McCoy as well for a lot of our games last year. Really good group, Chris, of managers that help support this team and support operations like this and allow the folks that are watching at home you're watching from all around the country, the world, frankly, to be able to tune in. So
there's a lot of behind-the-scenes action going on between managers and statisticians. There's a whole analytics group. There's managers that video the game and then they upload it to Huddle so the coaches can watch it right after the game, almost instantaneously. High-definition video taken. Come a long way since managing in the 80s, when all you had to do was keep a book. Although I'd like to think I did more than that.
I am sure you did, Chris.
I did. I know that. There was also only one of me.
I'll tell you what else where we've moved up a lot since. I'm talking like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when we were doing just audio stuff here with Bob Long Sports and LaSalle Sports. Really excited about the steps that we've taken. Big thanks is to you in part, Chris, for allowing us to do this. Big thanks to Rob Johnson, who works in the LaSalle Technology Department and makes sure we're marketed properly, as Deuce Turner hits that too. And, of course, can't go without saying thanks to Dunphy Ford. A good LaSalle man, Kevin Dunphy, sent his son to LaSalle and gives us some of the dry powder we need to make some of these advancements and get to a point where we have multiple cameras going. When there's not an LED scoreboard, that is, but right. 2 cameras going and making this what it is.
I can't say enough about Dunphy Ford. I am actually a Dunphy customer.
That's great. Family dealership. Good people. Taken away here by Malvern Prep. It's a 15-point game.
No whistle there.
Deuce Turner, finger roll, no. Cochran had a hand on it. Turner gets it back. Hicks goes inside. Timby called for the push in the back of number 35, Fran O'Shell. That is now the 7th team foul, Chris. That will send Malvern
to the line.
To the line for the front end and the bonus. Oh. Yeah, there you go. I think they just realized it, Chris. You know what? It's everybody's first weekend, not just the players. New season, everybody's got to get some of the rust off. O'Shell hits the first, earns his second. At this point, all these are going to be essential here, Chris. Now a 14-point lead for LaSalle. If Malvern's going to make any type of run, anytime you have an opportunity to put points on the board with the clock stopped, you have to do it.
Absolutely.
And he hits them both. Now a 13-point game, 7:02 to play. Scoreboard still says third quarter, but it is the fourth quarter here, as Alan Powell needs a timeout, and he gets it.
And he was smart. Smart play. He got trapped. Knew he had the timeout to take.
Now, speaking of rust, I want to make sure I have this rule correctly here, Chris. At the college level, when you call a timeout like that, that used to obviously reset, and I think it still does on a timeout, reset the 10 15-second clock to get it across the timeline. If it's knocked out of bounds or deflected out of bounds at the college level, it's not. Is that the same here at the high school level?
It is.
Have a full
so
10
they will
seconds.
have a full 10 seconds.
See, first weekend of the season, just got to brush up a little bit. 6 minutes, 56 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Full 30-second timeout, I should say. LaSalle was standing, Malvern Prep is sitting. So there's confusion as to what it was, but I believe a 30-second timeout called on the floor.
Yeah, because the horn came within the first horn came within 15 seconds.
So Malvern gets a quick break. Full court pressure here for the Friars. They trail by 13 points. And Jake Timby is up the floor, goes behind the back. Nice moves there, and they're across the timeline.
It's a nice press on the part of Malvern. How they double team right prior to coming across the half court line.
Yep, used that timeline as a third defender in many ways. 6:33 to go. LaSalle in no particular hurry, leading by 13.
See, this is where I think they need to be a little more deliberate. And
foul called on the backside, on the back cut by Jake Timby. Ty-G Leach called for the foul.
But it's an opportunity to get Kiska the ball down low, like they did at the start of the game.
Timby struggling to get it in. Throws it into the back court, and Kiska, nice job to let it bounce. He'll go all the way back and get it. 7th team foul. That'll go against Spencer Cochran for Malvern Prep. And Conrad Kiska will go to the line to shoot 1 and 1. Okay, I say the same thing here for LaSalle. To pad this lead, you're going to have likely at some point 3 opportunities to go to the line to shoot the front end plus the bonus. And these front ends are important. Hits the first, gives LaSalle a 14-point lead with 6:21 to play in the fourth.
The one thing where the Explorers are hurt when Chrysler's on the bench is Chrysler's far better foul shooter than Khalil Diarra.
Conrad Kiska hits the second.
At a certain point, Diarra is going to become a target to foul.
So Chrysler continues to sit with the 4 fouls. I think we'll see him as this clock ticks under maybe 3 minutes, 4 to 3 minutes left. Step back, nice defense. Cochran in NBA range 3, yes!
Wow.
Spencer Cochran from distance from the McGee on the Herb McGee court here at the old Philadelphia Textile, Philadelphia U and now Jefferson U.
And that's a big foul there because they've called Khalil Diarra on the foul. So not only do they make they count the basket, but then they're going to give Malvern, a 1-and-1.
So an opportunity for a 5-point play here. It was 54-39, now 54-42. And these free throws upcoming for number 35, Fran O'Shell, can cut it to 10. Here's the front end of the 1-and-1. High arcer won't get there, and boy, that's a missed opportunity for Malvern Prep.
As you said, Bob, any points from the foul line are points with the clock stopped.
Now LaSalle with their version of the 4 corners here as they'll pass it around on the outside. Allen Powell wide open, no good. Rebound for Diarra, and he's going to pull that back, and they fouled Khalil Diarra. You're exactly right, Chris. You said it. And Diarra will go to the line to shoot the front end of the 1-and-1 with the 8th team foul for Malvern Prep.
He becomes a target for that kind of foul instead of him dropping the ball right back. First of all, there was someone open cutting to the basket. He had Titus Beard cutting to the basket, but to drop the ball back to Powell to shoot another 3.
Khalil Diarra, huge foul shot there, makes that one and pushes the lead to 13. Khalil Diarra hits both, 14-point lead for LaSalle. See a lot of folks watching on Twitter right now. Appreciate that. Also on the YouTube. You can find us at LaSalle_sports on Twitter for all these live broadcasts as Deuce Turner gets to the hole, but the foul is called on the floor. And then on the YouTube page as well, the games will all be archived on boblongsports.com.
Yeah, this will be a 1-and-1. The foul was prior to the shot, or at least attempt to the shot.
Turner's front end is good, nothing but net. 56-43, 5:28 to play, fourth quarter. Malvern dressed in the royal blue, LaSalle in the home white. Turner hits them both. Here's Zach Chrysler back onto the floor with 5 minutes, 28 seconds left in the basketball game. Nice job by Khalil Diarra after being fouled to make both, but now the Explorers elect to get the more adept foul shooter into the game, Zach Chrysler, with the 4 fouls, and a 5-second violation will turn it right back over to Malvern Prep.
It's a good call by the refs, because remember, that was not who they inbounded the ball originally. They passed across,
right,
which is all part of the 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a teaching moment on the film tape and the film discussion for Mike McKee. Offensive foul, Zach Chrysler. Oh, man. Flirted with his 5th personal foul. His heels were right near the restricted area, but he kept the backside of the heels outside the area, took the charge, and it'll go the other way.
Yeah.
Sigh of relief from the LaSalle bench, no doubt.
It's the 4th offensive foul they've taken tonight.
Tell you what, you do respect the confidence now. If that's a block, we're probably saying something different, but the confidence and the ability to understand his defensive positioning and stand in there even with the 4 fouls. Titus Beard, good catch inside, but then he lost it. Cochran comes up with the basketball. Effective spin move there. Turner to the hoop, count it. Now it's a 10-point game with under 5 minutes to go and a timeout called on the floor by Malvern. Don't go anywhere. Still some basketball to go here from Jefferson University.
Not sure I would have called that timeout if I was Malvern. They were on a bit of a run. I think it gives the Explorers a chance to set up defensively for Mike McKee to talk to his team, talk to him about the pace, talk to them about defensive positioning, run a play that could bring the lead back to 12 or 13. So we'll see.
Very interested to see this, Chris. It's not the most important detail we'll see all of today, but Malvern Prep is sitting in a 30-second timeout. LaSalle with the more traditional, you sit at the full, you stand at the 30, and Malvern is getting their guys at least a little bit of time to sit on the bench. Again, maybe not the most interesting thing you'll see all day, but I do find it a little bit intriguing that they elect to sit even for 30-second timeouts.
Now LaSalle will have to inbound the ball. They can move.
That's a great play there by the Explorers. Now a long pass gets it up to Beard, and the Explorers are across the timeline. Next foul for Malvern Prep will be their 10th, so both teams in the double bonus from here out. Khalil Diarra inside for Conrad Kiska. Skip pass for Frere, and he is going to pull it back. Boy, he wanted to shoot that one.
I thought there had been a stoppage of play because he kind of stopped so abruptly.
4:23 to go. 10-point lead for the Explorers. Powell all the way to the hoop. Offensive foul. Looked to me like number 41, Keith Cara, was sliding.
Man, not to mention the fact that the ball, he lost the ball.
But it goes the other way. And Malvern Prep now, they get the stop that they wanted. LaSalle takes a little bit less than a minute off the clock. It's 4:18 and counting here in the fourth quarter, but they trail by just the 10 points. This was as high as an 18-point lead for the Explorers.
Someone's going to have to keep their eye on Turner. He's wide open in three-point range.
And there he is. He's going to make the extra pass. Cochran's been hot, and Cochran hits from the baseline. 7-point game halfway through this fourth quarter. Up the floor, here's Titus Beard. Beard takes it right at the hoop. Too strong. Diarra up and off the glass. Give him an offensive rebound. Make it 2, actually, with 2 points to boot. I mentioned that with Zach Chrysler, filling the stat sheet.
Exactly.
2 offensive caroms plus the point.
Plus the points.
Deuce Turner, yes! Back down to 6, and this Malvern team's starting to heat up.
Yeah, the Explorers are trading baskets 3 for 2.
Big time catch there. Here comes Allen Powell, and he lost the ball. Cochran has it now. Deuce Turner. Turner, extra pass, baseline 3, Hicks, no. Rebound corralled by Conrad Kiska. Boy, that would have cut it to 3, and it wasn't a bad look.
No, it was a nice look.
Conrad Kiska, count it. No, they're going to say it's on the floor.
On the floor, but he's going to get the 2 shots.
He pointed down to the floor like he was counting it, but he said on the floor, in fact. Six-point lead for the Explorers, 58-52, 2:57 to play. Kiska gets that first one to roll softly off the front rim and in.
All big foul shots from here. Any points from the line are important.
59-52, that foul shot makes it a 3-possession game here with under 3 minutes to play in the 4th and final period of regulation. And he hits that one as well. 60-52. Deuce Turner, LaSalle now into the zone.
They did this against Springside Chestnut Hill on Friday night.
Looking to have Malvern Prep shoot the ball over top of the zone. Deuce Turner, no good and out of bounds to LaSalle. Turner a little out of control on that runner. And now LaSalle brings that control back into the game. 8-point lead with the basketball. Clock is their friend. An opportunity here if you can hold the basketball, elicit a foul, or maybe get yourself an easy one. Yes, sir.
Like that one. Wide open lane for Titus Beard.
Spencer Cochran from the baseline, his favorite spot, and he stays hot. Cuts it from 10 to 7, 2:14 to play. Malvern Prep won't go away. A little more than 2 to go. It's 62-55. LaSalle leads.
Spencer Cochran's hot from that spot. Yeah, the Explorers had expanded the zone to protect just against that, and somehow Cochran got open.
This is LaSalle College High School basketball live on Bob Long Sports. You can find us on the LaSalle_sports Twitter handle, broadcasting live there, as well as on our YouTube page. And as I mentioned, the games can all be reviewed on our archived feed through boblongsports.com.
Yeah,
Chris, we'll be calling a lot of these games over the course of this year.
We are,
It's been
yeah.
a very interesting year for a lot of reasons. And we got about half, maybe a little more than half of the games on our schedule this year. And, I want to hear from you, some of the turnover that we've seen from personnel, from a coaching standpoint. What you see in this year, what your expectations might be if you're a LaSalle fan.
I think you're going to see a different kind of basketball. I think it's going to take them a while to get there. Remember, this is a team that's played together for a while. You're a heavy senior team that's played together for a while. So any type of transition in style and offense is going to take a while to get used to. It's going to be a bit of an adjustment, but they're doing a good job with the adjustment. It's going to be slow but sure, and I think by January they're going to be in full mode. I think there's a greater focus on defense.
Now on the Malvern Prep side, they're going to need to cause some turnovers on the defensive side. Almost did just that. And Zach Chrysler is fouled there by Keith Cara. And he will shoot 2 at the line. Both teams into the double bonus. 10-plus fouls on both sides. LaSalle a 7-point lead. 62-55 with 2:11 to play.
Not sure Zach Chrysler was happy about the hit after the foul.
Would you be?
No. The referee was quick to step in. I think he said something to the young man.
Chrysler long on the first. Opens the window here. Still a 3-possession basketball game with 2:11 to play.
Chrysler trying to make it 8.
Chrysler hits that one. And they're going to go offense, defense, put the smaller Frere on the floor.
Now, our viewers can't see this yet, but you can see where Cochran positioned himself during the foul shot.
There he is. That's right. On the far side baseline. Deuce Turner, not strong enough, I should say, off the glass. Frere does enough to get rid of it, but he's fouled on the play. He'll shoot 2 at the line with exactly 2 minutes to play in this 4th and final quarter of regulation.
Now, as nice as the scoreboard here is at Jefferson University, it doesn't tell us how many timeouts are left. I'm not sure Malvern, if they have anything, they have 1 left.
Frere a little short on that one. He misses them both, and they leave the door open. Under 2 minutes now to go in this one. Cochran from deep. No good on that one. Frere got a hand on it, and he gets it right back. He's on the floor first.
Timeout.
And there's the foul called against Ty G. Leach. Tell you, Frere actually did a nice job to draw that foul, because
yes.
I don't think that was going to get called until you saw the little flail with his right hand. Frankly, that's one that's got to be called more quickly by the referees, one way or the other. Either call it a quick jump or call it a foul earlier.
And our vantage point gave us one that a lot of people in the gym didn't have. Our viewers actually had the same as well. I mean, he was being hacked from above.
Frere 0 for his last 3 in the last minute from the foul line.
Manny needs to hit this to at least make it a 3-possession game. 9-point lead.
Yes, he makes that one. So as you said, Chris, 9 points, requires 3 threes. Turner looks inside, gets it right back. Lefty finish, counted and 1. So not one you wanted if you were the LaSalle Explorers. An opportunity for Deuce Turner to get it to 2 possessions with 1:34 to play. LaSalle leads 64-57.
That was an unnecessary foul by Khalil Diarra. I mean, you're going to put Deuce Turner on line, who's going to, a fabulous shooter.
So now here's that lineup you were looking for. Khalil Diarra, Zach Chrysler, and Conrad Kiska all in the basketball game. Oh, by the way, Zach Chrysler and Khalil Diarra both have the 4 fouls. Conrad Kiska up the floor. Wild pass. Out of bounds last touched by Malvern Prep. Boy, that was a dangerous pass.
I don't know that was the right pass. The pass to Diarra was the better play.
64-57, 1:24 to play. Explorers dressed in white with the basketball, going from left to right as we see it.
They have the big lineup in.
Alan Powell will pull it back. Powell's double teamed and fouled up near the logo. 1:15 to play. He'll shoot 2 at the line. LaSalle safely into the double bonus. This is the conclusion of the Scholastic Play-by-Play Classic here this Sunday afternoon at Jefferson University.
The tip-off classic.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And
many more to come.
That's true. We saw a very impressive output from Newman Goretti beating a team from Australia, Chris.
Ben Simmons' team from Australia.
Yes. And apparently a super sophomore, Chris Givens, had himself a day. 6 3-pointers. So that will be a tough matchup for the Explorers at some point this year.
A lot of discipline there on the part of the Explorers not to put the ball up.
Titus Beard gets it back. DR inside, Conrad Kiska. Picture perfect from the Explorers. Here's a wide open 3. That one's no good. Inside, Cochran. Good find that time from Radir Hicks, and a timeout called. 32 seconds left. 67-59, LaSalle leads.
Yeah, and the announcer just announced that was their final timeout.
Full timeout on the floor just a half a minute to go. Appreciate everybody being with us so far here this afternoon. We'll be back on Friday evening, a 7:30, Chris, 7:30 tip, I believe, against Constitution High School on the road.
A little later start on Friday night.
Yeah, an opportunity for folks to make their way down to Constitution High School in the city of Philadelphia.
Now, I'm not sure that the game is actually at Constitution. I don't believe Constitution has a gym. I believe Constitution's home games are played at Ben Franklin.
Okay. That's something I'll find out before Friday, I'm sure. Otherwise, the broadcast could be a little dicey.
I've always wanted to go to Constitution High School. You can see it right next to the Constitution Center, but I don't think there's going to be a game there on Friday night.
Well, nonetheless, that's a great reason to follow @LaSalle_sports, because I'm sure they'll have all that information better and with more efficiency than we do here.
And we'll certainly let you know where we are broadcasting from.
But yes, we want to make sure everybody can get out to watch the game themselves if they're in town. Make sure you follow this great young team here. Well, veteran-laden team, but group of youngsters here for LaSalle that have a lot of expectations and have a great test coming up for themselves on Friday night against Constitution. They never put the ball back into play, so now they will. Conrad Kiska looking for somebody, finds Titus Beard into a triple team, and boy, he got called for the foul there. Kind of bailed out because he was losing possession of that basketball.
Yeah, he was, but it's a matter of all you have to do at that point is hold on to the ball, and you're likely to be fouled.
Right. That's the basketball equivalent, though, of your quarterback leaving you out to dry, throwing you out and across the middle of the field. He threw Titus Beard into a triple team there.
2 shots for number 2, Titus Beard.
Been impressed by Beard, Chris. Really think he's going to be a solid contributor for this team, and I think that he is a very good finisher at the hoop and has an underrated three-point shot as a spot-up guy. I don't think you're going to see him dribble himself into a shot, create a three, and hit it off the dribble like you maybe would with Alan Powell, but catch and fire, he's very, very talented at doing that.
He's a very good defender.
Mix one of two, 68-59, 30 seconds left in this one. Taiji Leach. Here's an open three. That one's no good. Tapped up by Hicks and into the hands of Cochran. Nice back cut. Extra pass for Leach from the corner. Got it. Nice find by Brock Dudek on the backdoor cut inside. And now it's back to a 6-point game with 15 seconds left on the clock. I thought that Malvern Prep didn't have a timeout left, Chris.
So did I. They said...
And certainly not LaSalle calling that timeout, I wouldn't think. Perhaps it was. I don't know. Maybe just drawing something up to get the play in. But at that point,
you really don't have to.
If you're Mike McKee, you trust your guys to get the ball in. And if they don't, and if it's getting to 3 or 4 seconds, then
you call the timeout.
You call the timeout. It's been a good one, Chris, to start our season. I've enjoyed it very much.
It's a good game. It was a very good game.
Good game, nice broadcast. Thanks to Frank Sharika for helping us out on the camera, doing a great job. Chris, on your side, I don't think we were talking about this. We haven't called a game together in a little bit less than a year, which is probably a record for us. Not a good record.
No, not at all.
Since I've come back, and I'm glad that we're getting back to
I didn't get any football games this season.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out, though. We had a lot of home games.
Right. And also fortunate that we've had some great help from Rob Stott and Tyler Kern. Both of those guys did a great job all year. But got to get my boy Chris out to call some games, so I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, we have a game Friday night. We'll have some other games in the new year.
Khalil Diarra will go to the line to shoot 2. And like you said earlier in this quarter, Chris, if you had to handpick somebody, if you're Malvern Prep, this would likely be the guy. LaSalle, a lot of really good foul shooters on the team, even though today might necessarily show you that. And what Khalil Diarra showed you today is that he is knocking them down. So you give the big man a lot of credit.
This would be a big shot right here.
Yep, that last one was big, made it 69-62, a 3-possession game. This would take it to 8. And they do. 70-62, 13.5 to go. Malvern Prep will launch a long one. Deuce Turner, no good. Rebound pulled down by Leach. He'll get to the hoop, and with 3 seconds left, it's a
Will not inbound the ball.
no. That clock should stop here in the fourth quarter, I believe. So at the end of the first half, that's what we were talking about, where the clock will run itself out. They actually said that somebody hit the ball away, which was also the reason they put more time on the clock. DR is just going to dribble this one out, and LaSalle's going to get out of Dodge with a 6-point win, a game that they controlled really from the middle of that second quarter through to the end. Give Malvern Prep a lot of credit because they made some runs to get themselves back in it. But Chris, what we've learned about this LaSalle veteran-laden team here today is that they can play with the lead and that they can take a gut punch and deliver it right back on the other side. Solid win for an Explorers program.
This is a very good Malvern Prep team. Very different because they don't match up size-wise, but certainly talent-wise. They had some, they were able to I don't know the point totals, but clearly they were able to keep Deuce Turner and clearly Radir Hicks in tow.
Impressive win for the Explorers here from the Scholastic Play-by-Play Tip-Off Classic. Have to give a shout once again to Jeremy Treatman before we head off the air, allowing him to do this. And a big shout locally here for Dave Berman at the scorer's table on the public address for giving us a shout-out over the loudspeaker. Now the players of the game being announced. Radir Hicks, player of the game for Malvern Prep.
Funny because we didn't call his name very much tonight.
And Alan Powell for the LaSalle Explorers.
They obviously saw something in Radir Hicks that we did not.
Yeah, honestly, I would have gone with Deuce Turner or Spencer Cochran. Cochran from an efficiency standpoint, I think. And he also elicited some steals. Alan Powell, very deserving on the LaSalle side.
Absolutely
on
Alan Powell.
I think you also have to say that Conrad Kiska had a very impressive game offensively and defensively. I thought Titus Beard got LaSalle out of some sticky situations at times. And even Khalil Diarra with some big foul shots down the end and some big offensive rebounds had a fantastic game.
Now, all in all, it was a great effort by the Explorers. They go to 2-0, beating a really tough Malvern Prep team, a team that beat St. Joe's Prep by 11 points on Friday at the Prep. So I think that's, hopefully that'll speak some volumes about what we have looking forward this season. But I think we have 2 tests coming this week, one on Wednesday night and at home, and then going to Constitution on Friday against a perennial public league power.
Should be fun. Looking forward to calling it with you on Friday, Chris.
Looking forward to it.
For Chris Carabello, my color commentator, for Frank Sharika doing a wonderful job on camera here today, I am Bob Long saying so long here from Jefferson University, the Scholastic Play-by-Play Tip-Off Classic. The Explorers improved to 2-0, taking down the Malvern Prep Friars, and an impressive first weekend for LaSalle. Well, the lights go dim. At least I think that means they're telling us something. So we're going to get out of here and talk to you guys on Friday night from Ben Franklin High School, most likely, as LaSalle will take on Constitution on the road. We'll see everybody then. Take care and good night.